Many of our clients have to sell their current home and buy their next home in one seamless process. How does this process work? First of all, I ask my clients, do you need the money from selling your current home to pay for your next home? If you don't need the money from your current home, you can buy your next home first and then sell your current home at a later time. The key is to minimize the time gap between the two transactions so that you can avoid the costs of simultaneously holding on to two homes. For example, the mortgage payments, the property tax, the homeowner's insurance, and maintenance, and so on. You put your current home on the market as soon as your offer on your next home is accepted, so that we can match the terms for the deposits and important dates in the two separate agreements. You close on your new home first, then you close on your old home in just a few hours or in several days, depending on how much time you need for moving. Now the trickier question is, what if you do need the money from selling your current home to buy your next home? Then you will need to sell your current home first. Now you might ask, can I cash out my current home? Yes, you can, as long as you have enough equity in your current home and your new loan is not going to compromise your purchasing power for the next home. I can always connect you with an experienced lender if you would like to explore this option further. However, my focus today is to talk about selling your current home first, then use the sale proceeds to buy your next home. Now your fear is, what if I sold my current home before I could find my next home? That will not happen. Now that's the key, because you do not close on your current home until you're clear to close on your next home. As a seller, you will close on your current home contingent upon finding the next suitable home. That is much better than you as a buyer closing on your next home contingent upon selling your current home. This is because until you find a solid buyer for your current home, no seller would accept your offer, unless that seller is unable to find a buyer after trying for a long enough period of time. So not finding your next home in time is not the real question. The real question is how we make sure that your deposits are protected between the two transactions. The worst that can happen is losing your deposits. Now that is the most critical. Your deposit is most often 5% of your purchasing price. For example, if you're buying a $1 million home, your deposit is typically $50,000. Now, if you as a buyer have a mortgage on your next home, your mortgage contingency protects you if your buyer fails to buy your current home, and as a result, you fail to buy your next home. In other words, a sale contingency is hidden in your mortgage contingency. Now, if the listing agent on your next home is experienced, she or he may ask the question to make sure that the hidden sale contingency is waived. However, it can be a gray area, and the way we manage this area varies case by case. It's a longer conversation we can have over the phone or in person. In short, the agent, the lender, the attorney, we as a team must know how to time each step properly, both in practice and in the purchase and sales agreement. This is when our experiences and techniques and our teamwork matter. The most aggressive way to protect your deposit on your next home is to demand a non-refundable deposit, or at least a partially non-refundable deposit from your buyer for your current home. So your buyer's deposit will compensate for your loss if the deals fail. A cash buyer is ideal because their deposits are most often non-refundable. Now, it does not mean you as a seller should accept a lower cash offer. You should still negotiate for the strongest offer. But what if your buyer needs financing, has a mortgage contingency, and does not agree to a non-refundable deposit, yet you still want that buyer? In any case, whether you have a cash buyer or mortgage buyer, your agent must do due diligence to understand your buyer's motivations to buy. Why do they want to buy? When do they want to move in? How much savings do they have? Do they have other debt? Will they likely back out of the deal if they lose money elsewhere, such as the stock market? Are their jobs stable? How long have they worked in their jobs? And so on. We ask many questions to understand the buyer's situation and their purchasing power. If the buyer has a mortgage, it also helps that we know the buyer's lender well. If the lender is very experienced and professional, they would have already done due diligence, and the underwriting process should just take a few days. The quicker your buyer can close, the lower the risk it is for you. As a seller, you can always close on your current home quickly and have a leaseback agreement with your buyer in order to match your moving date with the closing date of your next home. Last but not the least, as a seller, always have a couple of backup offers. If any rare surprises happen, you immediately have a buyer taking the previous buyer's place. The stronger party in a negotiation is always the party that has more options.